Welcome to Wednesday Web Chat. This is Carl Lewis, your host from Vision 33. And today we're going to be talking with my friend and colleague of many years, Abraham Litzman. And Abraham is going to be talking to us about month-end closing procedures in SAP Business One. And a couple of weeks from now, he's going to come back and we're going to talk about year-end closing procedures. So these two topics are always seem to be attractive to the audience. And I think a lot of our financial folks kind of, as I told Vina earlier, come out of the woodwork every year. And so we have a good audience today for this topic. So, Abraham, welcome back to Wednesday Web Chat. I think it was last year about this time we had you here talking about these same topics, and we appreciate your making yourself available one more time.
My pleasure. So for those of you who don't know me, I've been with Vision 33 just over 10 years now, working with Business One probably for 15, 16 years. I'm currently working in what we call service excellence in enablement, where we work with methodology and compliance and training and those kinds of things. I've been working with ERP solutions that Carl and I were just talking about the old days of punch cards, which we remember. So I've been doing this for a long time with different systems with small and to mid-sized businesses. And my background is educationally in accounting and law, but for the majority of my career, when I've not been a consultant, I've worked as a controller, financial officer with small to mid-sized businesses. Okay, so you probably know if you've been working with SAP for a while, right, that there's documentation for year-end closing, and you've probably noticed that there's not really anything on month-end. Okay, some of the things that we'll talk about are a little bit relevant as well to year-end, but if you're looking for some documentation, there's not so much specifically, but some of the things we'll go through today, if you have specific questions, you'll be able to find that as well. Just the reminder of the topics, we'll mostly go in order. We'll talk about how to record monthly accruals and recurring expenses. We'll talk about reviewing month-end results, reconciliations, what reports you might want to run and preserve. We'll talk about posting period status and making sure that you've implemented these things, that you're leveraging SAP Business One as much as possible to simplify and speed up the month-end closing process. I'm hoping most of you have been using SAP for a while. I'm hoping that a lot of this is going to be review. Great, so let's get started. Let me share my screen. I'm going to let you guys take a look at SAP. Okay, hopefully you can see hopefully you can see SAP Business One right now.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. So when we start talking about monthly accruals and recurring expenses, things like that, right? And again, Carl and I were just also talking about in the old days, before you get to SAP Business One, when you don't have an integrated online real-time system, right? The month-end closing process with all the different manual things that had to be done was a lot more time-consuming. There's a lot more steps, right? And in SAP Business One, because of the integration, because of the real-time, it should be, easier if you're new to SAP Business One. And so the starting point, which again is going to be unique to everybody, is what is it? What are those? Do you have that list of monthly transactions? And then how do we get them into the system, right? So I made a list. I'm pulling it from different documents that we've prepared, and I've seen other people prepared. It might include payroll accruals, right? It might include your investment account revaluations, foreign currency revaluations. You might have assets under construction that you want to, at the end of the month, you want to capitalize something. You might have inventory write-offs, inventory cycle counts, depreciation, amortization, right? Recurring expenditures you might want to be able to get automated. So that list, that is a list, unless you're a brand new business or you're brand new with the job, you probably already know what a lot of those things are. And then we'll take a look here at how we can get some of those things into SAP with reminders, right? So that we don't have to just make sure to get that checklist every month so we forget. So there's two things that I thought we would take a look at to begin with, right? There's a thing called a posting template and something called recurring posting. Okay, and they both work a little bit different, right? So the first thing is, I'm going to take you guys into system administration, into general settings, right? There's one thing in terms of setup that you want to do to take advantage of take advantage of the notifications, right? You see I've turned on here, display recurring postings on execution, display recurring transactions on execution, right? So that allows me to get the notifications. So when I turned on my system this morning, right, for the first time, and this is a demo environment, so there really should not be 697 postings to be executed. But when something is due, right, when I set it up as a recurring posting, I'm going to get a reminder, right? The other kind of reminder I'm going to get is, you see here, it says there were no recurring postings. So when I log on the first time, the system is going to give me some heads up on things I need to do, right? And we'll take a look in a minute about how to set this up and then how to execute it, right? Again, this is the recurring postings. Let me close that out. So if I go to financials, and under financials, you see we've got posting templates and we've got recurring transactions. Let's start with posting transactions, okay? So posting transactions, right, you can set up, and you can set these up to do by percentages, right? So you see here as an example, right? I've got a payable to a vendor, and whatever that number is every month, I break it down as a percentage, right? Because the bill changes every month, the full amount, right? And I know that whatever it is, I want 90% to go to my office and building rent, and I want 10% to go to maintenance. So I can set this up so that the percentages are in there, right? And that's the advantage to this one. So then in order to execute this, right, I cannot put this on a timer where it's not going to pop up every month or every week and tell me, well, I guess we're doing month and every month, right? But this would be, maybe I have a reminder set up in B1 or somewhere else that says to do this. The advantage with this is I can go to here and I can go to template type and I can select percentage. And then I can go and I can actually select it, right? So now here, when I put in the amount, right? And oh, goodness gracious, I didn't realize this was, sorry about that, hold on. Did I get the right one? Okay, you see it took the $1,000, right? We'll just look at not the foreign currency. It took that $1,000 and it allocated it based on that percentage.